Welcome back guys to another episode. We just reached 100 subscribers, so thank you to everyone who subscribed. That last video did quite well, so we're actually going to start a new project today. It's a 20-foot Monarch. So it's on a twin axle trailer. It's got an inboard motor. It's a Chrysler. So I'll show you around it. It's got trim tabs on it. It's got the speed sensor down there. It's also got a ladder. It's got a back deck that folds up. Needs a bit of work done to it. It's got the depth sensor, fish finder. Let's see, and not too much else. The axle does tilt. I've never used it. So it's got a winch. It's electric. Somewhere there. Hook up an electric winch to it. Just been winching it by hand when I took it out. Haven't taken it out for a long time. As you can see, there's split rollers. The hitch spare. It's pretty much got brand new tires on it. They've only done about 200 kilometers on these tires, and then it's sat for about a year. But yeah, I'll show you inside. So here's the inside. So it seats 7 people. You've got the front here. This will start at the front. So Monarch Boats makes it. They don't really make boats anymore. They make bigger boats now. Here is a toilet under there. And back here, just got the fish finder, cup holder that's just sitting in there for now. Switch panel that I put in because the old one was just very old. This is from I think it was made in '85, this boat, so it's quite old. But this is where you sit to drive it. It's forward and reverse like normal. When this is pulled out, forward just revs the motor. It doesn't actually put it into gear. So you have to push this in and then it'll actually activate it into gear. So that's how that guy works. Just your normal switches up here, just for the lights and stuff. Got USB ports, phone holder, little compass that's very old. The 2 fuel gauges, this is for the trim, so you trim the motor up and down. This one, I don't think it actually does anything. It only has an up as well. This is for the trim tabs. Something just fell behind me. So it's for the trim tabs up and down, both left and right. Steering wheel. New steering cable in this because it broke on me once when I went out. Very old radio that's, I don't even think it's hooked up, but it's in there. So it's got a speedo on there, which does work because it's run off that little thing off the back of the boat. Water temperature does work. Volts did work, I'm pretty sure. Oil pressure did work. Never read really that good because kind of really half-assed rebuilt it. And then RPMs, that worked as well. And here's the key, which obviously powers all off, so that won't work. It had windscreen wipers. They don't work, and also the rubber's destroyed off them, so they make horrible noises when you turn them on. Lighting, this one is currently out. I was going to replace them. That one's in. We have a red light on that side for nighttime. Then we have the lights out here. We have a cable up here for the, I think one's for the anchor light that goes up into the roof there. And the other one's for this light in here. Battery's off currently. Before it would come out this center hole, except when I bought it, someone had run a wire down into here and siliconed it across this whole side and up. You can't actually feed wires through the roof. It is there is a gap in there, but they filled it full of foam, so you can't actually run wires through it anymore. Couldn't even get the wire out, so I had to cut it inside. Bit of a pain in the ass. So you have a seating area here. 2 seats, table swivels. It would probably go down if it worked properly, but it's kind of seized, I think, in there and won't actually go down. So that's fun. Over here we have a sink. And then on the back it's got a cooker. Never actually used it. Basically just use this as an esky for all our drinks that we put in here. Under seat storage under all of these. So it's got life jackets, some ropes and stuff. There's a fire extinguisher that's probably expired 20 years ago. There's some under the floor storage. It came with a lot of spare parts. Some of that is from me, but most of it came with it. And more storage under there, under the driver's seat, and under that front one. And then you come to the back, it's got pockets on the sides. So there's a fuel tank under there. It's 100 litre, both sides. And then if we remove this, you can see it's just got pockets on both sides. So that side, and this side has a hose in it. And if we take these off, and there's the motor. So it's a it's got a Chrysler 318 in here that has currently spun a rod bearing. It got oil in, got water in the oil, and yeah, one of the rod bearings did not enjoy that. So, remove all this. So it's got some fenders. eBay special. Lift it up, drag it forward a bit. So it's got alternator. That's a raw water pump down there. This is the water pump for the motor, so it's got its own coolant. So that's a coolant tank for it, and it just runs salt water through a heat exchanger that's underneath it. Might be able to see it down there. There's a tank down there, and that's the heat exchanger. And then it just runs it back out through these pipes and into the exhaust, as you can see. And these are wet exhausts. So it has exhaust inside, and then around the exhaust on the outside is a separate chamber that has raw water going through it. And the same thing in here, same deal in this one as well. But then when it gets down to this rubber, it opens up and all the water mixes with the exhaust, which keeps that rubber cool, otherwise it would just destroy it from the heat. And then it goes out the back, out the leg, where all the exhaust goes out with all the water. And then there's normally 2 batteries in here, but the Patrol stole one because one of its batteries died, so I took it out of there and put it in here. Also put a solar setup in here, so just a cheap eBay special. This solar charger is actually dead. Thought it was working, but it's pretty rusty, so I'm guessing it got wet at some point. So it's no longer turning on. So I might need to buy a new one of them. And then up under here, you can see, this is the isolator for both batteries. And then because this system isn't very good, I needed an isolator for the battery charger, for the solar charger, so I can keep both batteries separate whilst charging both batteries. It's a bit of a shit fight, but it works. It charges both batteries, and I don't have to turn this on to give power to the boat. So that's all that matters. It's got a fuel pump that's really dodgy over here. That little box mounted to the floor is the actual fuel pump. It's got 2 fuel filters back there, and this is a coolant overflow bottle here. It's got the leg back there. This is the pump here that does the tilt for the motor. And then over here, that green one does the trim tilts for both the left and right tilt trim. I think that's right. Let's hope that's right. Anyway, as you can see, it's a distributor. It's got a rear distributor on there. Coil sitting down in there. It's carbied. This bowl here is a brand new piece. The old one for the booster pump down here, there's 4 bolts that go into it, 4 screws that go in the bottom, and one of the threads had come out, and then another one had been previously fixed, so just decided to buy a new one. Most of this wiring is factory, surprisingly. This was a coolant temp sensor because the one on the dash doesn't work very well. And then if we look over here, so that's just a shut off for the fuel, so there's one of them on both sides. So you can shut off each tank and only run on one. And down there, they both join in. So the left one is for the left tank. That's the input for the left tank, and it comes out in the middle. And then that's the input for the right tank and comes out in the middle. And then they both join into this hose, which goes through the little pump down there that just gives about 5 psi straight up into the carby. Just a little baby solar panel on top here. Has little connectors so I can take it off if I want it. It's got little wing nuts up here so I can take it off, mainly because it had a cover on it. Horn, little intake, And then it's got a door to get into the cabin, and also that's where the anchor is. So yeah. Oof, crunchy. But that's about it. So in the next episode, when you see this, we're probably going to be pulling out that motor because it does need to get rebuilt. When I bought it, got it for pretty cheap. It was like $4,500. So it had low compression on cylinder 8 when I got it. You could see the valve, where the valve sits, it was quite corroded away. So probably from salt water getting into the exhaust or something. Don't know how, but I did test all that stuff just to make sure it wasn't going to happen again. It's probably happened again because we didn't really fix it. We grind the valves to try to seat it, but it was there's a lot. So you'll probably see that. It's probably really bad again. But yeah, so we never really got it to be good compression. But it did run when we rebuilt it. It was really cheap. Nothing really got replaced. Just anything that was crucial. No new bearings, nothing. They were 20th hour over already, so it has been rebuilt previously. But yeah, it's definitely going to get rebuilt again. And hopefully it runs better. But that's probably going to be it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button and subscribe. Until next time, see ya.